juicier fruit filling is improved and juicier.
This is Odyssey, the new electronic game simulator.
Radiant control toaster. I believe this one's a T.
What do disco balls, bell-bottoms, and groundbreaking gadgets have in common? They ruled the 1970s, but some bombs couldn't boogie. In this trip down memory lane, we're unearthing innovative products that seemed destined to change our lives until they flopped. From gizmos that promised jetpacks at home to futuristic appliances that made us wish for simpler days, these curious contraptions are the epitome of bold moves gone wrong. So, buckle up, dust off your nostalgia goggles, and prepare to be amazed as we review 25 innovative products from the 1970s that failed miserably. Imagine a bike that lets you steer not just the front wheel but the back wheel too. That's the swing bike, a wild ride first sold in the mid-1970s after Ralph Belden got a patent for it in 1974. You could twist your back wheel to switch directions or pull off neat tricks. At first, it looked cool in the same wheelie bike style as popular chopper bikes.
And the bike isn't just going to fold over. Then you'll start to feel comfortable on the swing bike. You'll start swinging a little bit. Start steering left to right, and then what you're just going to find yourself doing.
And later the company even made a BMX version. But people found it tricky to handle and too odd for a daily ride. By 1978, the swing bike faded away and its maker packed up. Today, it lives on as a funny footnote in bike history. Proof that sometimes two steering wheels are just one too many. Riding it remains a curious challenge. But if steering a bike from both ends wasn't strange enough, another bold invention was about to test just how far instant gratification could really go. Polavision was Polaroid's dream of instant home movies back in 1977. Instead of waiting days to develop film, you could pop the cartridge into a small box, pump it a few times, and boom, watch your color clips in minutes. The trick was tiny red, green, and blue filters woven right into the film.
Picture cassette that reproduces the images instantly. I drop it in, and that's it. There's no projector or movies.
A clever bit of color magic. Sadly, it hit the market just as Betamax and Video Home System were getting ready to let people record television shows. Those bulky tape systems cost more at first, but they let you tape and rewatch programs repeatedly. Polavision, by contrast, gave you one shot per cartridge and offered no easy way to save your tapes. Folks found it too pricey and clunky, so Polavision soon slipped into the dustbin of gadget flops. Laserdisc arrived in 1978 as the first home video format on an optical disc. These big, 12-inch silver plates looked like oversized compact discs of the future. Because they used analog video, their picture and sound quality surpassed both Video Home System and Betamax tapes. But the players cost a small fortune, and you couldn't record television shows onto them.
But most discs have about 45 minutes. With a standard movie of 90 minutes, that requires two sides, so a whole movie often fits one disc. If it's a longer movie,
people loved movie-quality playback, yet hated the high price and lack of recording. To watch a new disc, you had to buy or rent each movie, and discs were bulky. Still, a fan club grew around Laserdisc's crisp video for film buffs who didn't mind splurging. Its makers kept making players until 2009, but it stayed a niche toy rather than a living room staple. Today, it's a collector's dream for retro geeks. In the 1970s, someone thought sweating in puffy pants would slim your waist. They called them trim jeans, or inflatable sauna pants. You'd strap a belt around your hips, pump air in until the pants puffed up, then sit in a chair and wiggle your torso with magic torso moves. The promise? Lose 6 to 9 inches around your belly, hips, and thighs in just 3 days. It sounds like a dream, right? But most folks found it silly and uncomfortable.
The revolutionary sauna pants. The at-home sauna experience that you can enjoy when you want to and where you want to, right in the comfort of your own home. All you do is wrap.
Pumping the pants was a chore, and sitting still while trying to shimmy felt awkward. Plus, any inches you lost were just water sweat, coming right back when you rehydrated. Soon, the trim jeans drifted out of sight, remembered only as a wild, wacky, short-lived fad idea. Back in the 1970s, the big box sitting under your television screen or hugging your desk was powered by a cathode ray tube. This glass vacuum tube fired electrons at painted metal plates, drawing every color and shape you saw. The screen had a gentle curve, and you could feel a tiny hum from the magnets inside. Watching Saturday morning cartoons or typing homework on these bulky displays felt futuristic, but the weight was immense, and the edges were deep.
Ultimately, the color of the screen is determined by what sort of phosphorus mixture is used to coat the inside. Some monochrome screens are green, some are black and white.
Moving them required 2 people. As liquid crystal displays and light-emitting diode screens emerged in the 1990s, flat and light, cathode ray tubes slowly retired to basements and garages. Still, people who remember that soft glow, the occasional flicker, and the sound of warm glass feel nostalgic about early screens. They paved the way for displays. In the 1970s, Toastum introduced Danka toaster snacks, hoping to bring a mini pastry experience into your kitchen. These golden pockets looked flaky and inviting, filled with sweet fruit centers like strawberry or apple. You popped them into the toaster, watched the timer, and expected a crisp, warm treat. Sometimes the crust held firm, but other times the filling oozed out, leaving a sticky mess to clean. School kids loved sneaking extra snacks after homework.
When toaster pastries first came out, they were so unique, people overlooked the taste. But now that the novelty's worn off, people want their toaster pastries to do more.
And busy parents liked the quick prep. However, the delicate pastry edges often burned or tore, frustrating everyone. As toaster snack trends shifted, Toastum replaced Danka with simpler shapes and sturdier shells. Still, for a fleeting moment, these snacks promised a taste of continental flair right at home, then vanished almost as quickly. Imagine a giant metal frisbee lifting off the ground, all without a pilot on board. That's exactly what John West dreamed up in 1975 at his small Surrey workshop. After 2 years of tinkering, his 30-foot skyship quietly slipped into the air near Bedford, guided only by radio signals. It was a neat trick, Britain's first flying saucer, but the real world wasn't ready.
It was a maze of challenges, and the biggest challenge that the concept faced was the pitch instability.
The controls were finicky, weather played havoc, and onlookers soon lost interest. No full-sized, people-carrying versions ever took off. Still, isn't it fun to picture those early pioneers huddled around their radios, cheering as a saucer floated skyward? Even if it never became mainstream, West's creation reminds us how wild ideas can briefly brush the clouds. But if airborne saucers weren't quite ready for takeoff, another invention was aiming to lift something else entirely: your listening experience. In the early 1970s, Vanguard Records rolled out a way to make music jump out from all around you. 4-channel sound on reel-to-reel tape. Soon, vinyl lovers and car stereo fans could buy 8 tracks and albums promising surround sound bliss. But here's the catch. You needed special decoders or fancy receivers to hear the extra channels. Early decoding tech was hit or miss. Sometimes channels bled together or vanished altogether. Fans got frustrated, and record makers switched back to the trusty stereo long plays everyone already knew and loved.
And this also came in the estate sale. I've got this on a Dutton Vocalion SACD, I believe, and I need to listen to both, and I can compare them, and that should be super cool.
Despite later improvements by sound guru Peter Scheiber and systems like Columbia's Stereo Quadraphonic, 4-channel records never took off. They remain a neat footnote in audio history, proof that more isn't always better. In August 1975, advertising whiz Gary Dahl pulled off a joke that made him rich. He sold ordinary rocks as pets, complete with cardboard boxes, ventilation holes, and straw bedding. At a San Francisco trade show, buyers laughed and snapped up orders by the thousands. For 6 months, everyone wanted a pet rock: kids, office workers, even grandparents. But by early 1906, the novelty wore off. Stores marked them down, and the rocks sat on shelves, stoic and uncomplaining.
The loving pet rock that you've got him for Christmas. Today's Christmas spot, we're having a look. I'm going to put him back to bed.
Dahl had sold nearly 1.5 million copies, pocketing a tidy profit. But once the laughter faded, so did the fad. Today, pet rocks live on as a playful reminder that Sometimes the silliest ideas spark the biggest buzz, if only for a little while. Atari Pong burst into arcades and homes in the 1970s, becoming one of the first video games to reach millions. With simple black and white graphics, 2 paddles, and a bouncing square ball, it mimicked table tennis in a digital form.
We're teaching these kids how it was for the old folks. All right, kids.
Players twisted knobs to move paddles up and down, trying to keep the ball in play. Pong's catchy beeps and blinking screen drew crowds in shopping malls and bars. It sparked a new era of electronic games and inspired future consoles. Yet, the original cabinets were bulky, the gameplay repetitive, and there were no power-ups or storylines. Today, you can find Pong on tiny handheld devices or play it through software emulators online. Still, nothing beats clicking those chunky knobs and hearing that first ping. It remains a pure, simple joy. In 1970, Bell Telephone attempted to sell the picture phone, bringing video calls to your living room. It looked straight out of a sci-fi show, but the $160 monthly fee, or over $1,200 today, scared most people off. You could chat face-to-face, but only one person on each end. So, family meetings or work conferences were out of the question.
Good morning, Mr. Wells.
Nice to see you, Cal. I guess Ben filled you in on the problem.
He did, and I think I've got an answer for you.
Technically, it worked, but a bulky box and grainy image made it feel more like a novelty than a must-have. Bell tried again with Videophone 2000 in later decades, yet interest stayed low. Now, old units pop up at auctions as a quirky slice of tech history. In 1979, Clairol mixed yogurt into shampoo, hoping to sell the idea of creamy, natural hair care. But shoppers scratched their heads. Was it food or a hair product? A few brave souls even sniffed the bottle, half expecting a snack. Despite the good intentions and the potential benefits of protein and lactic acid for hair, people stuck with their trusted bottles instead.
Clairol's put yogurt with natural organic protein into new, shimmery, shiny touch of yogurt shampoo, so rich it makes your hair.
Shelf space cleared out quickly, and yogurt shampoo vanished almost as fast as it arrived. Today, it's remembered as a wild experiment in beauty aisles, a reminder that natural only succeeds when the message is crystal clear. Sony's Betamax hit stores in 1975, promising sharper video and solid build, dream gear for home movie lovers. Yet Sony wouldn't share its secret recipe, so other brands couldn't make Betamax players. Meanwhile, Japan Victory Company opened licensing for Video Home System.
Introducing Easy Beta from Sony. Norman Betamax, a simple idea in video cassette recorders. Norman, play.
Filling stores with cheaper, compatible machines and rental tapes. Before long, Video Home System tapes were everywhere, and Betamax slipped from top dog to also ran. By 1988, Sony's share tumbled from nearly 100% to a mere 10%. In the end, Betamax reminds us that being the best tech isn't enough. You've got to let people use it however they want. In 1972, breakfast cereal got a swooping hero, Baron von Redberry. Think of a World War I pilot in a berry red uniform, flying through your milk and turning it into sweet fruit punch. His cereal was crunchy oat bits mixed with berry marshmallows, and each bite tasted like fruity clouds. On television, he'd roar, "Baron von Redberry is der berry goodest cereal." Drawing laughs and hungry kids, but his rival, Sir Grapefellow, answered back, "Tally-ho! Sir Grapefellow is the grapest." It was a friendly cereal war under the table. Soon, shoppers grew tired, and both cereals faded away, leaving only old boxes on dusty shelves. Despite catchy jingles, they couldn't outlast classic brands. Collectors now hunt for boxes at flea markets. Just as the cereal aisle began clearing out its airborne mascots, another breakfast experiment was heating up, though it wouldn't stay on shelves for long. In 1972, Downy Flakes debuted with toaster-ready egg patties shaped like thick discs. The concept was exciting. a quick breakfast alternative. But people found them tough and bland, more like hockey pucks than a treat. Some tried to save them with toppings like syrup or cheese, but the effort fell flat. By 1975, Downy Flakes had disappeared from shelves. This brief stint in the breakfast aisle shows us that not every culinary experiment succeeds, and sometimes breakfast needs more than a quick spin in the toaster. Digital audio tape, DAT, was Sony's late 1970s gamble for perfect audio in a neat cartridge. Fans dreamed of crisp playback and flawless copies, but the decks cost over $600 and each tape sold for more than $10. Copy protection rules made recording tricky and record labels sued over possible piracy.
The digital audio tape, or DAT, has been called the wonder tape recorder. Its ability to reproduce sound is so good, it's got the music industry worried. They're afraid
Hobbyists stuck with cheaper cassettes or vinyl, which were familiar and reliable. By the mid-1980s, compact discs arrived with clearer sound and lower costs. Digital audio tape then slipped into studios for backup and mastering, but never found a place in living rooms everywhere. Consumers watched hopes fade as prices stayed high. The twist and tone was a 1970s fitness craze that promised fat burning with minimal effort. The setup was simple: stand on a revolving platform, twist your body, and hope for results. Unfortunately, the magic never arrived. People tried it, got dizzy, then moved on.
Hold both feet firmly in place, bend your knees, and gently begin to twist at the waist in
Today, it sits in corners, reminding us that not every idea takes off. A bit of a fad, but it's certainly a quirky moment in fitness history that didn't quite work out the way its inventors hoped. In the early 1970s, Firestone rolled out its 500 tire, promising drivers a buttery smooth ride and tread that would outlast the competition. Car owners snapped them on, picturing carefree road trips, until a chilling crack echoed across highways as sudden blowouts sent cars swerving off course. Reports flooded in of failures at high speed, injuries stacking up, and lawsuits piling onto Firestone's doorstep.
Steady highway speeds compared to our original equipment belted bias tire. The Steel Radial 500 can give you up.
Before long, more than 14 million of those faulty tires were yanked off shelves in one of the largest recalls in history. The Firestone 500 saga stands as a clear warning. Shortcuts in safety testing can have explosive consequences. Emerging in the mid-1970s, the Concorde flew across the Atlantic at Mach 2, cutting travel time between New York and London in half. Its gleaming silhouette and plush cabins captured imaginations, offering champagne breakfasts above the clouds. Yet, every marvel comes with a cost. Sky-high fares, limited flights to elite travelers, and its thirst for fuel spectacularly drained wallets faster than the clock raced.
A section of Concorde airborne. At the ceremony, the majority of the Concorde customer airlines were represented by senior captains and stewardesses.
Sonic booms rattled coastal towns, sparking protests and flight restrictions. A tragic crash in 2000 sealed its fate, and mounting losses grounded the fleet in 2003. Concorde proved that ambition can soar, but sometimes reality keeps the sky grounded. In the mid-1970s, the Apple II burst onto the scene as one of the first personal computers built for home users. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak designed a machine that didn't require a room full of wiring or advanced coding skills. It sported color graphics, a full keyboard ready for typing, and expansion slots where you could plug in extra memory or a floppy disk drive.
To affirm its commitment to this winning product, Apple has enhanced the Apple II.
It even booted into beginners' all-purpose symbolic instruction code so you could start writing your own programs right away. Schools used it for teaching, families experimented with simple games, and hobbyists shared software on cassette tapes. Priced at around $1,300, it felt like an investment, but hundreds of thousands flew off the shelves. The Apple II helped spark today's world of laptops and smartphones you carry everywhere. In 1972, the Magnavox Odyssey became the world's first home video game console, and it looked nothing like the systems we know today. Designed by engineer Ralph Baer, This boxy unit connected to your television and included plastic overlays that you taped to the screen to add color backgrounds.
Themselves with Odyssey, the electronic game of the future, and the family's best.
The games were simple: bouncing balls, chase scenes, and even a light gun shooting target. There were no cartridges, just circuit boards that plugged directly into the console. Despite its basic black and white graphics and simplistic sound effects, families gathered in their living rooms, taking turns with controllers that resembled chunky paddles. The Odyssey sold tens of thousands of units and proved that electronic gaming could be fun at home. Its success sparked the explosion of consoles that followed. Next up, a television that changed how we watched shows. Sony Trinitron color television ruled the 1970s. Instead of the curved shadow masks of old sets, Trinitron used a vertical aperture grille, giving images crisper lines and brighter colors. Big, boxy, and often encased in gorgeous wood paneling, these televisions glowed with richer reds and deeper blues. Families gathered around during Saturday morning cartoons or Sunday night news.
Everybody knows there's more than one way to look at the world, and Sony's world-renowned Trinitron TVs are well worth looking into.
Marveling at sharper details and fewer flickers, the set's signature Trinitron badge became a mark of quality. By the end of the decade, competing brands scrambled to match Sony's breakthroughs. Though today, we stream on flat, wall-mounted screens, vintage collectors prize original Trinitron models for their picture warmth and iconic look. AVE Mizar began in 1973 as a daring blend of a Ford Pinto chassis and a Cessna Skymaster fuselage. Its goal was thrilling: cruise on roads, then unfold wings and soar above traffic. Early fans cheered the test flights.
From its point of production and distribution in Southern California, the Mizar air car has wide-reaching possibilities for consumers.
During a trial, a key support strut failed, and the prototype plunged into a field. The crash claimed the life of the company's co-founder, halting the dream. Engineers faced endless weight and balance issues, and costs spiraled higher. Regulators refused to back the project after safety concerns mounted. By its end, AVE Mizar remained an icon of hopes grounded by reality. Smell-O-Vision burst into cinemas in the 1970s, promising to release matching scents as action played on screen. Audiences expected fresh ocean breezes, rose petals, or sizzling steak aromas at just the right moments. Instead, odors drifted too slowly, often arriving after the scene ended or failed to spread evenly across dark theaters.
Smells like gunpowder and freshly brewed coffee are stored in canisters behind the theater and piped in at the right time.
Viewers joked that every film smelled like stale popcorn and mystery stew. Projectionists saw extra hassle hooking up scent pipes and cleaning residue. Studios dropped the system after a few showings. Smell-O-Vision remains a curious footnote, a bold but flawed bid to awaken a sense that movies keep dormant. Bell Rocket Belt appeared in the mid-1970s as a jetpack, built to lift one person with hydrogen peroxide fuel. Strap it on, ignite steam jets, and launch upward. Demonstrations at air shows amazed crowds as pilots hovered just feet above the ground. Yet, the thrill lasted 21 seconds before fuel ran out.
10-month program completed in June 1961, the Bell Aerosystems Company, under contract to U.S. Army Transportation Research Command.
Top speed reached 60 miles per hour, but pilots dangled exhaust streams that stung their eyes. Steering remained clumsy and no backup safety system existed. With a hefty price tag and no way to fly longer, the Rocket Belt stayed a stunt device. Personal flight stayed only within science fiction.